Last night I thought the best way to test out my new GPU was to sit back, relax, and play some Horizon Forbidden West. But after just a few seconds of playing, I got this crazy beep sound. And I realized I missed a vital step that people do when they build their PCs, and usually what they do when I get someone else to build my PC is a stress test. I used FurMark as a benchmark tester to see the status of my GPU temp, VRAM, fans, and power during a stress test. This benchmark tester renders a furry object so that it pushes your GPU and you can change all the settings there. So after doing a lot of research on the internet, looking through Reddit, using ChatGPT and YouTube videos, it was kind of hard to find out what this error code might be, and it turned out that this is a specific type of beep that comes from an Asus motherboard. And this beep relates to the power usage related to the GPU. And it just so happens that the issue that I had was coming from this. A UPS that I have my PC plugged into. Now, normally you have a UPS to make sure that if anything happens or interrupts your power, your PC doesn't shut off and you lose a bunch of data or anything like that and nothing happens to it. And I particularly have my NAS plugged into this so that I don't lose any of my data. If my NAS needs to shut down really quickly, it will still have the battery backup. So apparently GPUs, particularly in this 4000 series from what I've researched, have things called transients, which are large energy spikes. And the UPS cannot handle these, or at least in the particular case of the one that I have. My UPS is also a lower end one, which is okay for my NAS, but it doesn't support the power load of my GPU. So I guess this is just one of those things that you learn from trial and error, but I'm glad I caught the code before I damaged my PC at all. After I plugged it into an extension cord rather than a UPS, I didn't have the error anymore and the problem was solved. However, I did catch something else. If you look at my FurMark stats, you'll notice that my power that I'm using is almost at max. And if I check the requirements for my GPU, I'm actually really pushing close to the minimum requirement that I need for my PSU, my power supply unit, for the particular GPU that I have. I need to have something like 650 watts for my GPU, but my PSU really only has 660. This doesn't give me a lot of room for all of the other things I have, like my RAM and my SSDs. So I made the decision to get this guy, which is a higher wattage PSU, and it has a lot more updated gear in here. So this is something that I'm learning a lot more about, which is called future proofing, making sure that I have the system and all the components required for allowing me to upgrade in the future, so that I don't have just the minimum requirements for what I have now, so that if I want to upgrade things, I don't have to upgrade everything at the same time. This should allow me to upgrade to a 5090 or something above that and still have enough power for anything else I have in here when I upgrade those. Another lesson I learned when I was debugging this is that when I first set up this computer, I kind of went along and I added all of the suggested updates to your BIOS for overclocking. And I would recommend to a new person in my sort of situation that hasn't really touched this stuff to at the least only change one thing at a time. Don't change all the settings that are suggested and then just throw them on your BIOS. Then you don't really know what can be causing an issue, and probably just go with the factory settings to start until you know everything is running with your PC. Also, make sure to do a benchmark test. You should probably run your PC for whatever the recommended time is, I think at least 20 minutes, to make sure that your GPU is running properly. I hope my experience helped you a little bit, and like and follow if you want to see more of this sort of stuff. I get a lot of other comments about people who want to try to upgrade their PC as well and are scared about it failing or wasting their money, breaking components, or electrocuting themselves. So feel free to ask questions. I'd be happy to give you my knowledge with kind of a fresh experience from this and try to help you get at least to where I am. And let me know if this is the type of content that you'd like to see.